Your dog might not like you as much as you think. It sounds harsh, but those signs are appearing every day right before your eyes. The problem is that most pet owners misunderstand or ignore them. By the end of this video, you'll know how to recognize the signals that your dog is feeling uncomfortable, stressed, or gradually losing emotional connection with you. Let's start with one of the most common misconceptions. Warning sign Hasson. Tail wagging doesn't mean happiness. When you see a dog wagging its tail, most people think it's happy. But the truth isn't that simple. Dogs can wag their tails when they're excited, anxious, scared, or even when they're in a defensive state. It's not just the tail wagging that matters. It's the whole body language that goes with it. A happy dog usually has a relaxed body, soft eyes, and natural movements. Conversely, if the body is tense, ears are pressed back, or the eyes are constantly scanning the surroundings, then tail wagging may simply be a sign of stress. Many people overlook this and inadvertently make the dog feel more stressed. Warning sign #2. Avoiding touch. Humans often express affection through hugs, but not all dogs appreciate that. If every time you reach out to pet your dog, they turn their head away, back away, or try to avoid contact, it's not a random behavior. It's their way of saying they're uncomfortable. Many owners assume their dog is just temporarily upset. But when these small signals are consistently ignored, the dog will gradually lose faith that you understand their feelings. Over time, the distance between you and your pet will grow larger. Warning sign #3. Indifference when you come home. Dogs don't necessarily jump up every time you walk through the door. But dogs with a good emotional bond with their owners will usually react in some way. They look toward you, they approach, or simply show joy at seeing you appear. If, over a long period, your dog shows almost no interest in you coming home or leaving, it could be a sign that the connection between you two is waning. Emotional distance doesn't happen in a day. It builds up from many small, overlooked interactions over time. And most worryingly, most people only realize it when the relationship has become very cold. Another sign is often labeled as stubbornness. But in reality, it could be the clearest warning sign that your dog is losing trust in you. Many pet owners believe that if a dog doesn't obey, it's simply because it's stubborn. But in many cases, the truth is quite different. And that's warning sign number 3. Warning sign number 4. No response when you call its name. Imagine this. You call your dog's name once. No response. You call a second time. It continues doing its own thing. The third time, you start to get annoyed. Most people would think, this dog is so stubborn. But animal behavior experts see it differently. A dog with a strong bond with its owner will usually pay attention when it hears its name. Not out of fear or coercion, but because it has learned that interacting with its owner provides a positive experience. When a dog consistently ignores calls, it could be a sign that this bond is weakening. Sometimes the cause stems from owners only calling their dog's name when preparing to scold, bathe, or finish activities they enjoy. Over time, dogs begin to associate the call with unpleasant experiences. As a result, they lose interest in responding. It's worth noting that this is often not defiant behavior. It's a sign of distrust. A dog that trusts you will want to know what you need. A dog that is disconnected from you will gradually learn to ignore you. Warning sign #5. Growling when you approach. Many people consider growling to be a sign of a misbehaving dog. In reality, it's often a warning. Think of it this way. If someone repeatedly enters your personal space despite your apparent displeasure, you'll eventually have to react more strongly. The same goes for dogs. Before growling, they often give off many more subtle signals such as turning away, licking their lips, lowering their heads, or avoiding eye contact. But because those signals are so subtle, most owners don't notice them. When all other warnings are ignored, growling becomes the dog's last resort for self-defense. The danger is that many people punish the growling behavior. They yell at or force the dog to be quiet, but that doesn't resolve the animal's inner discomfort. It only makes the dog ignore the warning and may lead to more aggressive behavior in the future. Warning sign #7. Whale eye. When the whites of the eyes begin to show. This is one of the strongest signals a dog uses to say, "I'm uncomfortable." This term is called whale eye by behavioral experts. It occurs when a dog turns its head in one direction, but its eyes remain fixed on the person, causing it anxiety. At that moment, the whites of its eyes become more visible than usual. Many people don't recognize this signal. They continue to approach, continue to hug, continue to pet or force the dog to interact, while the animal is trying to send one last warning before having to defend itself. Whale eye usually appears when a dog feels threatened, cornered, or out of control of the situation. That's why many unexpected bites are actually not surprising to those who understand dog body language. Warning signals appear very early. It's just that nobody's paying attention to them. And when dogs realize that all gentle communication is being ignored, they are forced to resort to more forceful reactions. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is that these signs don't mean your dog hates you. They're just trying to tell you something in their own language. The question is whether you're willing to listen. After hearing these signs, some people might start to worry. Does my dog really dislike me? The answer in most cases is no. What these signals are showing you isn't hatred. They are messages. Messages your dog has been trying to send for a very long time. The problem is they can't use words. They can only communicate through eye contact, body language, and everyday behavior. Every time your dog turns away when you hug it. Every time it doesn't respond when you call its name. Every time it growls to keep its distance. That's not resistance. It's communication. One of the biggest mistakes dog owners make is trying to make their dog love them more, while what's needed is to make the dog feel safer. Because true affection always begins with trust. A dog that feels safe will actively seek you out, actively interact, actively stay by your side even without food or rewards. That's the sign of a healthy relationship. So, from today, instead of just looking at what your dog is doing, try observing the reasons behind its actions. Learn to read their language, respect their space when necessary, reward positive behaviors, and spend more quality time with them each day. You don't need to be an animal behavior expert, but you need to be a good listener. Because sometimes, all your dog wants is to be understood. And when that happens, the bond between you two will become much stronger. Not because you forced them to love you, but because they voluntarily chose to trust you. That's the kind of genuine affection any dog owner wants to have. But the last sign is truly worrying. It often appears just before a dog completely loses its sense of security around its owner. Up until now, we've discussed signs that indicate a weakening bond between you and your dog. But the next sign is even more serious, because it directly relates to your dog's sense of security when you're around. Warning sign #6. Destroying your belongings. Many people have come home to find their favorite pillow torn to shreds, their new shoes chewed to shreds, or their whole room looks like it's been through a storm. Their first reaction is often, "It's getting revenge on me." But the truth is, dogs don't think that way. They don't plan their revenge like humans do. In most cases, destructive behavior stems from stress, boredom, or anxiety from being alone. Especially dogs with unhealthy attachments to their owners. When you leave the house, they feel insecure. When that feeling isn't released, negative energy translates into destructive behavior. Interestingly, many of the chewed items carry the scent of their owner. Shoes, clothes, pillows. These items make dogs feel closer to the person they miss or worry about. If you only look at the consequences and ignore the cause, you'll never solve the real problem.